Hello, this is Debbie Hemsley and welcome to part 1 of the Snowdrop throw. Please make sure that you do read the terms of use and make sure that you don't break any of the copyright rules that I've put down. Please also make sure that you read the introduction document, which can be found on my blog at www.thenevecollection.com. This is an important document that you're going to need to refer to as we go through the pattern. Round 1. We're going to start with a 3.5mm hook, which we will use throughout the work. It's not necessary to fasten off at the end of each round unless otherwise specified. So we're going to start with chain 8, which we're then going to join into a circle. We're then going to do chain 4, which counts as our beginning treble crochet. We're going to work over this tail and we're going to make a further 23 treble crochets into this ring. So if we count the first chain 4, we'll have 24 treble crochets in total. I'll leave you to do that and then I'll see you for the join in a little while. We're now going to join our round, and let's just have a look at which stitch we're going to use. This here belongs to that stitch over there, which is your first proper treble crochet that you did. Here are your 1, 2, 3, 4 chain from your starting treble crochet. We're going to use this here to join our round. So what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch through there and our round is joined. Round 2. We're going to be working between the spokes for the next round. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip stitch into the first space between the spokes. And then I'm going to chain 1, which does not count as a stitch, and then I'm going to make 1 single crochet in the same space. Now we're going to be increasing 12 stitches on this round, so every alternate space will get 2 single crochets. The 2 single crochets is where our repeat starts. We do 2 single crochets, and then in the next spoke 1 single crochet, 1 repeat done. Do that 11 times, 2 single crochets, 1 single crochet. So that's 2 repeats done. Do that 11 times, and then if you wait for me, I'll just take you around the join. Okay, I'm nearly all the way around. I've done the repeat 11 times, and I now need to do 2 more single crochets into the last spoke. And then we are going to join again with a slip stitch into the top of that first single crochet. You should now have 36 single crochets. Please just take a moment to check your stitch count before we continue. Round 3. We're going to start off with a chain 4. This counts as a double crochet and a chain 1. And we're then going to do a 1 double crochet in the same stitch. So chain 4, 1 double crochet in the same stitch. That is our starting V-stitch made. Our V-stitch consists of double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. And what we're going to do now is we're starting our little repeat. We're going to chain 1, we're going to skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and we are going to do a V-stitch in the next stitch. And we're going to do this little repeat again 11 times. Your V-stitch should fall in the one single crochet from the previous round, and you should be skipping the 2 single crochets. When you get to the end, you're going to finish up with your 11th V-stitch, and then you're going to chain 1 and join with a slip stitch to the 3rd chain of the beginning chain 4, and I will see you for round 4. For stitch counts, please refer to the slide that is provided after each round. We're going to now move on to round 4, and we're going to slip stitch into the first V-stitch, and then we are going to chain 1, which does not count as a stitch, and then we're going to work 3 single crochets into the chain 1 space of the V-stitch. It'll be a little bit tight, but don't worry about it, it does all work out. And then chain 2, we're going to skip the chain 1 space, and we're going to work 3 single crochets into the top of the next V-stitch. So this is where our little repeat starts, chain 2, and then the 3 single crochets into the V-stitch. You're going to do that 11 times. You will then find that you are in the top of the last V-stitch. You're going to do chain 2 and join with a slip stitch to the top of the beginning single crochet. Round 5. Start with a chain 1, which does not count as a stitch, and then work a single crochet into the same stitch as your slip stitch join. We're then going to do 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. Now we're going to be working in front of this chain 2 from the previous round and in front of the chain 1 from the round before that. And we're going to be working into these 2 skipped stitches down the bottom there. So we're going to start with a treble crochet. Just fold the work away to have easy access to those stitches, and complete a treble crochet. And then we're going to do a chain 1, and we're going to work another treble crochet into the second skipped stitch down there. That's where our little repeat starts, is at the treble crochet, chain 1, treble crochet. We're then going to do a single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. Now let's just be a little bit careful here. This is a chain there, that is your hidden stitch over there. It can be a little bit difficult to identify sometimes, so just make sure that you don't skip that stitch. You're going to work 1, 2, 3 single crochets into those stitches there. 2, 3, and that's our repeat done. I'll show you that repeat once more. Treble crochet in front of those chain spaces into the skipped stitch, chain 1, treble crochet, and then a single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. Those 3 stitches are the 3 single crochets from the previous round. So you're going to do that little repeat 11 times, and then you will be over here at your 3 single crochets, and you'll finish off the round with 1 final treble crochet into the skipped stitch, chain 1, treble crochet, and then you're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of your first single crochet. Round 6. We're going to slip stitch to the center single crochet of our 3 single crochets. So just a straightforward little slip stitch. We're then going to chain 4, which counts as 1 double crochet and a chain 1, and then we're going to do a double crochet into that same stitch, creating a beginning V. We're then going to front post double crochet around the treble crochet from the previous round, and then we're going to do 2 double crochets in the chain 1 space, and then front post double crochet again around the next treble crochet. And then we're going to do a V-stitch in the center of the next 3 single crochets. So our repeat starts here with the front post double crochet around the treble crochet from the previous round, followed by 2 double crochets into the chain 1 space, followed by a front post double crochet around the next treble crochet, followed by a V-stitch into the center of those 3 single crochets. So that's where the repeat starts. We're going to do that 11 times, which will bring you to the point over here where you will do your final V-stitch, and then you will need to do your treble front post double crochet around the last treble crochet, 2 double crochets and a front post double crochet before joining with the slip stitch into the top of the 3rd chain of the beginning chain 4. Round 7 is going to be a nice easy round. We are going to slip stitch into the chain 1 of the first V-stitch. Chain 1 does not count as a stitch, and then 3 single crochets into that same space. And then we're going to chain. Now this is where our repeat starts. It starts with chain 4 and skipping over all of this and working into the next chain 1 space at the top of the V. So chain 4, 3 single crochets into the chain 1 space at the top of the V, and we're going to do this little repeat 11 times, which will bring us back to just before our starting point. You will need to do a final chain 4 before joining with a slip stitch to the top of the beginning single crochet. Nice, quick, easy little round, and I will see you for round 8. Round 8, we're going to start with a chain 1 and a single crochet into the same stitch as a slip stitch join. We're then going to do 1 single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches, followed by a front post double crochet around the front post double crochet of the previous round. And then we're working in front of this chain 4 here, so let's just get that out the way. And then we're going to do a single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. These are the 2 stitches between the front post double crochets on the previous round. And this is where our little repeat starts, with that first front post double crochet and then a front post double crochet around the next front post double crochet, followed by a single crochet into each of the single crochet stitches from the previous round. So there's 3 single crochets. So that is our little repeat there. Front post double crochet working in front of the chain 4, single crochet into each of the 2 stitches between the front post double crochets, do another front post double crochet followed by a single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. You're going to do that 11 times, and you will then be at this point over here, and you're then going to finish off the round with a front post double crochet around there, single crochet, front post double crochet, and join with a slip stitch into the top of your beginning single crochet. Round 9. We're going to start with a chain 1, which does not count as a stitch, and then we are going to do a back post half double crochet around all of these stitches. The first one can be just a little bit tricky, just persevere, and off we go. Back post half double crochet around all of the stitches. Your stitch count at this point should be 84 stitches. Please just make sure that you double check that it is correct. It's important going forward. Be a little bit tight this round. You're working into single crochets for the most part, but it's only 84 stitches, so I'll leave you to get on with it. When you get to the end, you can just join with a slip stitch into the top of your first half double crochet, and I'll see you for round 10. Round 10. Going to start with chain 2, which counts as our beginning half double crochet. Now we are going to be increasing 12 stitches on this round, so you're just going to need to do a little bit of counting. So we're going to do 5 half double crochets, now if we count our first chain 2 as double crochet, we've actually got 6. 1, 2, 2, 4, 6. Now into the 7th stitch we're going to work 2 half double crochets. That's our first increase done. Okay, now we're going to start a little repeat, which we're going to do 11 times, and it'll be 1 half double crochet into the next 6 stitches, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and into the 7th stitch we'll do 2 half double crochets. So 1 into each of the next 6 stitches, and into the 7th stitch 2 half double crochets. So continue until you are back at your last stitch over here, and your final stitch should be 2 half double crochets, and then you can join in the top of the second chain of your 2 chain, and we will get together for round 11 when we're all finished. Round 11, we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to do a back post half double crochet around each of the next 96 stitches. Nice easy little round. Just be careful when you're doing your back post stitches that you're actually going around the post and not into the stitch. By that I mean you don't go in over to the stitch, you go around the actual post itself. Be careful when you get to the increased ones that you don't pick up 2 by mistake, and just go all the way around and join with a slip stitch. Round 12, we're going to start off with chain 3, which counts as our beginning double crochet. We're then going to do chain 2, skip a stitch, and 1 double crochet into the next stitch. So the chain 2, skip a stitch, 1 double crochet is your repeat, and we're going to do that 47 times. Chain 2, skip a stitch, 1 double crochet. Chain 2, skip a stitch, 1 double crochet. When you've done that 47 times, you should be at this point over here, at the end of the round, you're going to finish with chain 2 and join with a slip stitch to the top of the third chain of the beginning chain 3. Nice easy round, quick 2. Round 13. In this round we're going to be working with popcorns. Just a little tip, please remember to always close your popcorn with a chain 1. We're going to start round 13 with the chain 1, does not count as a stitch, and then we're going to do a single crochet into the same place as our slip stitch join. Now working in front of the chain 2 on round 12, we're going to popcorn into the skip stitch on round 12. Now my popcorns are 4 double crochets, then you remove your hook, count back 1, 2, 3, 4, insert your hook through, pick up that loop, pull it through, close with your chain. Then we're going to do a single crochet into the top of the next double crochet. Okay, so our repeat starts with the popcorn and the single crochet, the repeat starts with 1 popcorn in the skipped stitch on round 12 and then 1 single crochet in the next stitch. We're going to do that 47 times. I'm just going to show you one more time in case you're not familiar with the popcorn. So it's 4 double crochets, pull up a loop, remove your hook, count back 1, 2, 3, 4, pull that through, close with a chain and single crochet. Then you're going to do that 47 times. You'll then finish with 1 last popcorn into that last skip stitch and join with a slip stitch to the top of the beginning single crochet. Round 14. This round we're going to be working 2 half double crochets between each popcorn, 1 on either side of the popcorn. We'll not be working in the closing chain 1 of the popcorn. We're also going to be increasing 12 stitches over the entire round, so let's just have a look at this quickly. That is your closing stitch of the popcorn. We're going to skip that. So we're going to work 1 half double crochet in that stitch, 1 half double crochet in that stitch, skip that stitch, 1 half double crochet, 1 half double crochet, and at the same time we're also going to be increasing the 12 stitches. So let's have a look at what we're going to do here. We're going to chain 2, which counts as our beginning half double crochet, and then our first actual half double crochet will be just into that stitch there. Then skip and 1 and 2. And we're going to do that into the next 6 stitches. We're going to do a half double crochet to the next 6 stitches, so we'll have 7 in total if we include the first one. So 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's the chain 2, which is your first one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in actual fact we've done 7 stitches. Into the 8th stitch we're going to do 2 half double crochets, and then again skip that closing stitch, and now we're going to do 7 half double crochets, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then in the 8th stitch we're going to do 2. So 7 half double crochets into the 8th stitch, do 2. Do that until you're all the way around at the end of the round, and you're going to finish up with 2 half double crochets in your last stitch, and you should at the end of this round have 108 half double crochets. Just make sure your stitch count is correct. It's quite easy to miss one of these little increases. Join with a slip stitch to the top of the second chain of the beginning chain 2. Round 15, we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to back post half double crochet around each of the 108 stitches. So back post half double crochet around each of the 108 stitches. Just be careful when you get to one of the increases that you don't accidentally pick up both stitches together. Okay, like over here, make sure that you go do it back. Oh, got stuck there. Let's try that again. Make sure that you get both of those stitches separately. Okay, so continue until you're all the way back at the starting point. You can join with a slip stitch to the first back post half double crochet, and we will see you for round 16. Round 16, we start with chain 3, which counts as our first double crochet. We're then going to work 1 double crochet in the stitch before the starting double crochet. This will form a little cross, just like that. And then we're going to go skip a stitch and again do a cross. So skip a stitch, double crochet, skip a stitch, okay, just going to continue until you have done 54 of these cross double crochets, and then you're going to join with a slip stitch to the top of the 3rd chain of the beginning chain 3. Very easy little round. Just be careful to work in the correct stitches. Round 17. These are going to be more cross double crochets, and they will be aligned on top of the cross double crochets from round 16. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch to the stitch on the left of your cross stitch, and then we're going to chain 3, which counts as our beginning double crochet, and then we're going to work 1 double crochet back into that first stitch there, forming a cross. Then going to chain 1, and we're going to do 53 more cross double crochets. So skip the first stitch, cross back over, chain 1, skip the first stitch, do a double crochet, cross back over, and chain 1. You do this all the way around. You will have 54 of these cross double crochets and 54 chain 1 spaces when you get to the end of the round. You're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of the 3rd chain of the beginning chain 3. Round 18, nice easy round, starting with chain 2, which counts as our first half double crochet, and then a half double crochet into the next stitch. This is where our repeat starts. We're going to start with a half double crochet in the chain 1 space, and then 1 half double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. Second repeat, half double crochet into the chain 1 space, half double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. You do that repeat 53 times. That will bring you to a half double crochet in this last cross stitch, and then you're going to do one more half double crochet in the chain 1 before you join with a slip stitch to the top of the second chain of the beginning chain 2. Round 19. Start with a chain 1 and then a back post half double crochet around each of the 162 stitches. Familiar round, nice and easy, shouldn't take you too long. Hopefully you're all familiar with back post half double crochets. They're not nearly as difficult to do as you might think. Again, it's just muscle memory. So go all the way around, and then we're going to join with a slip stitch to the first back post half double crochet, round 20, chain 3, which counts as your beginning double crochet, 1 double crochet in the next stitch. Now is when our little repeat starts, and we're going to repeat this 53 times. Chain 2, skip a stitch, 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. Chain 2, skip a stitch, 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. So continue until you're almost back at the beginning. You're going to finish off with a chain 2, and you will join with a slip stitch to the top of the 3rd chain of the beginning chain 3. Right, moving on to round 21. Again, remember to close your popcorn with a chain 1. Starting round 21, chain 1 does not count as a stitch. 1 single crochet into the same space as the slip stitch join, and a single crochet into the top of the next stitch. Working in front of the chain 2 from round 20, we're going to do 1 popcorn in the skip stitch on round 20. Again, it's a 4-legged popcorn. And 1, 2, 3, 4, pull through. Oops, it didn't work the way it was supposed to. I didn't pull up a big enough loop. Close with the chain 1, single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. Our popcorn is the start of the repeat, and then the 2 single crochets, and we're going to do that 53 times, which will bring you to the last single crochet over there, leaving you to do 1 more popcorn before you join with a slip stitch to the top of the beginning single crochet. It's going to take you a bit of time to do this round. It's quite dense, but get on with it, and I'll see you for round 22 when you're finished. Round 22. For this round we're going to be working 3 half double crochets between each popcorn. You will not work in the popcorn closing chain. At the same time you will be decreasing 18 stitches. So let's get started on round 22. Chain 2 counts as our beginning half double crochet. 1 half double crochet in the next 6 stitches. So if we count the beginning chain, we've actually got 7 stitches, and then we're going to half double crochet 2 together over the next 2 stitches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a half double crochet. I'm not going to complete it. I'm then going to start a second half double crochet, and then I'm going to complete that by pulling it all the way through, thereby decreasing a stitch. Our repeat starts now, and we're going to do this 17 times. We're going to half double crochet. Remember to skip the closing stitch. We're going to half double crochet in each of the next 7 stitches. Then the 8th and the 9th stitch we will work together, decreasing. So 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th stitch and 9th stitch we do together to decrease. So carry on until you're back at your starting point. Your last action here will be to decrease half double crochet 2 together over the last 2 stitches, after which you're going to join with a slip stitch to the top of the second chain of the beginning chain 2,